Everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this one is a cheats focaccia. I never know how to say it, but most of the people on TV, when I hear them, they say focaccia, so I'm going to go with that. It's a bread that I love, but I found it really difficult to find at the moment, and granted I don't get it all the time, but I searched every supermarket that I could find, lots of social distancing, lots of queuing, couldn't find it. So looked for a cheats version online because I didn't have yeast or bread flour. First one I made 2 weeks ago was a little bit cakey, but then this one, which I'll link you to, I've modified it slightly, but it used yogurt, and I tried it last week. I mentioned in last week's video it's the one that the pigeon liked, so if the pigeon likes it, that's good, because that pigeon will not eat what it doesn't like. It does not like gluten-free, so it liked this. So I've modified it, and it doesn't actually have measurements as such, it's more judging it as you go. So your oven's on at 200 degrees C. You just need your bowl, you need some sort of tray. It's so easy that you don't even need to use the board to knead it. You don't even need to do that, straight on the tray. Olive oil, self-raising flour, Greek yogurt or natural yogurt, some sea salt, rosemary and mixed herbs. But you could make it however you want. If you want it plain, if you want to put in maybe some tomatoes, you know, when you get your roasted tomatoes, that's lovely too. But I love rosemary and the sea salt, so we're going to go with that. I wanted to use my mineral salt today, but I'm holding back in case I regret it and wish I just used the sea salt. Also, the crossover with the aromatherapy, you know, I love that. The benefits of rosemary in it today, there's lots of them. It's antioxidant, it's very good for your skin, it's very good for your macular area, which is your eyes, it's good for your digestion, it goes on and on. So not only does rosemary smell good and taste good, it's also very beneficial to your body. So let's get started and I'll show you how quick and easy this is. So this, I don't bother with the cups because I'll link you to the recipe, but it was saying a cup of this and a cup of that, but when I tested it out I didn't have enough, so I just made a smaller version. So I've put in from that big yogurt, maybe about a third of it, so let's call this a cup. So then I've just put in a teaspoon of the mixed herbs, but truthfully I just free poured it until I thought, yeah, that was enough. And then the self-raising flour, you're just going to go with it until you create your dough. So we'll maybe start off with the spoon, but at some point you need to get your hand in there. What I'll also do at this point is just do a little twist of salt. There's going to be salt going on the top as well. So there's going to be more flour than yogurt. So if there's, say, a cup of yogurt, there'll be about a cup and a half of flour, but you're going to judge it until it all comes together to form a dough. And that's how easy it is. You don't even need to actually get this onto the breadboard. So at some point I'll be switching this over, and instead of the spoon I'll knead it with my hand. So that's starting to change, but it's not there yet. But I was so surprised at how nice this tasted, and you don't taste yogurt at all. I think the yogurt is the trick that made it so soft and like a genuine one. As I say, I couldn't find any, and I even looked at the bread mixes, but as you can imagine, they're nowhere to be found either at the moment. Right, so we're getting there, but still more flour. Right, I think we're starting to get somewhere now. So in a moment I will stop using the spoon and move over to hands, and it's a very soft, fluffy mixture, if that makes sense. Yep, just pop that over there. So get your hand in there, and it just, it's a strange thing to say, but it just feels very light and very airy, and I'm guessing that's the yogurt. So we're definitely getting there. I think just a little bit more flour. Yeah, that's coming together. So I've only made it once before. What I'd like to do is start experimenting with different flavours, but I do love rosemary and sea salt. it is a good one. And it's very hard not to keep eating, as you can imagine. But I think that's us now. So I'll just bring all this together. And then I'll wash my hand and show you how easy it is for the next step. So that's it come together. I had to wash my hands. And then what you do is you drizzle some oil over it in the bowl, and then you just turn it round and coat it. And that stops it from sticking. And then it goes onto your tray. And then you squish it out into your focaccia shape. And you don't need to be too fussy here. So get your shape of bread that you're interested in. If you want to make it round or like a rectangle, we're not being super fussy here because I just want to see how this works. And then what we're going to do is just make our little indentations. You know, when you get your focaccia, it's got all the little indentations in it. And then I'll give my hands a quick wash and we'll do the salt and the rosemary before we pop it into the oven. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just a little sprinkle of the sea salt. Not too much. And then take some of the rosemary sprigs and just make it look pretty. But I don't want to bore you with this, so I'll fast track this a little bit. But basically I'm going to put the rosemary on, and then I'm just going to drizzle some oil just over the top to finish, and then that'll go into the oven for about 20 minutes. So I'll do that and then bring you back when we're done. And that's just a little video of how it looks when it's going into the oven, so let's see how long it takes and what it looks like when it's finished. Right, that's it, just out the oven. It was 25 minutes. It smells so good. You can really smell the rosemary, but it's not overpowering. So I'll let it cool for 5 and then we'll cut into it and see just how it looks. Right, so I've just cut into it, but you can see it's got a nice golden colour, and it's one of those sort of tear and share breads. So you could dip that into balsamic and olive oil. You could have it with soup. You could even make a club sandwich with it. There's so much you can do. So that is the cheats focaccia that I discovered. It definitely works for me, and it's good if you can't get a hold of bread mix or yeast or bread flour. So hope you enjoyed that. As always, leave me comments. Let me know what you're making or any suggestions to try a different variation, and I'll see you again soon.